Alrighty guys, what's up? It's a Saturday morning in April. We're in California. It's kind of lockdown right now, so not much is going on in the form of social gatherings and all that, but here with my car, so I can do some interior stuff. Got some time to finally do that. So pretty soon I'll be replacing the steering wheel. I got a used one off of eBay, but it was rewrapped in new leather trim, which was nice. Also, another video coming soon. This happened. My car is now a manual, 6-speed manual. We swapped it. A friend of mine and I just did it in 20 hours straight, no breaks. And that was a pretty tedious process, but it's done now, which means I no longer need paddles, so I can sell these and actually make a profit. So, not profit overall, but profit with regard to steering wheels. I get a little nicer one. I have the M trim waiting to be redone, refinished. Bought it pretty cheap. It was pretty beat up, but nothing a little bit sanding and paint can do. So be handling that soon. But today we'll be focusing on my door cards over here. So overall, the door's in pretty good shape. It's not really damaged, maybe a little bit dirty, but that's kind of what happens when you have a beige interior. I might dye the top portions black as well as the lower portion. Leave the center beige, kind of like the salad brown spec. But if you look over here, we got these little pockets, I guess you can kind of store some stuff in, but unfortunately this kind of rubberized soft touch material just kind of gets kind of nasty after a while. It kind of starts falling apart. As you can see, this one's kind of peeling away, and really not a huge deal, but I have this paint over here. It's supposed to be great for specifically this kind of stuff. As you can see, it's BMW cream beige, so it's this exact color. I might test it out a little bit, but the cap is pretty damn close to what the stuff actually should be. So we're gonna try and paint that. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to remove this piece from the car itself. I know I can remove the window switches, which I'll actually be painting as well. As you can kind of see over there, it is wearing away. But I need to be able to figure out a way to paint this without painting the switches themselves. So it'll probably be a little bit of experimentation there, but nothing too major. I'm trying to think, what else can I paint here? I eventually want to paint all of these lower portions black, and as well as the carpet just be black. I will take the seats out eventually, so I'll probably paint these while I'm down there. It seems like the color is kind of not quite what it used to be, so we definitely need that paint to kind of match it up. The only things I can kind of think of are this guy over here, the kind of key area. I want to paint that in the same color again. The cup holders actually, this seems to be a common place for the paint to kind of fail, but mine are doing okay, but they're a little bit sticky, so I'm expecting that'll happen soon. The back of this handle, this grab handle for the passenger, probably should be redone as well. So I'll get around to it as we go. Alright, so I got that trim out, as you can see over there. Pretty easy to kind of pry it out. I started lifting up on this kind of stuff over here, hoping the entire thing would come out. I managed to get this guy out just alone. You can probably unplug it down there. And then from there we can kind of see how we can take this apart and get the switches separated from the actual panel over here. But the goal is also this one as well. So I noticed there are a couple of torque screws in those holes over there. There's one on each side of this kind of bucket. I'm going to get my Torx driver set. We're going to figure out which those are and get those out. Alright, so after quite a lot of trouble, I actually removed the door card partially unintentionally. I think after releasing those screws, there are 3 of them actually. There was 2 in those little things I was talking about, those little holes. They're T20s. Pretty long screws we got over here. They went over there through these 2 little spots. But those are out now. I also removed one over here. I didn't know if it was kind of holding it in, or actually over here rather. I don't think it was, but it loosened the entire door card to where it can kind of flop around like this. It's not fully on there, also not fully off, which is even better. I don't really want to remove the entire door card, but it'd also be a good time for me to dye the leather, or vinyl rather. So maybe I'll take it off and just dye it now. But that could be another project for later in the day. But for now, we got that trim off. Also keep in mind, I got this one clip very stuck and it just broke off, but not a huge deal, only one clip. But basically this kind of metal retainer dug into it, I guess over time, and just wouldn't come out at all. So that guy is broken, no worries, we will toss that later. But yeah, the rest of them came out pretty smoothly. So the only 2 screws actually holding this piece in are below this guy over here, which I pointed out earlier. But once those are out, we got this entire section out. We can go ahead and clean it as well as we can. We can also take this out somehow. I'm still not quite sure how yet, but I believe the way to do that is it's kind of melted plastic. We might have to drill through these guys and take the entire thing out. Now, you may think this is a lot of work just to get this one piece out, and yes it is, but with what's going on right now, I'm bored, so we will do this. Alright guys, as usual, we're on my kitchen counter. We're going to get this bottom part kind of pried off. This part actually faces the door card usually, but we should be able to come off. As you can see, there are some clips over there, and just some prying should be able to get it off. Yeah. Alrighty, so I kind of drilled out those little plastic, I guess you'd call them, they kind of melted together. I'm not really sure what you call it actually. But those connections are now kind of destroyed, but that's what we wanted to do. You did not go through the other side, just got to be careful of that. I kind of just went at an angle with the drill bit. It's a 1/4 inch like this. Did the trick just fine. To get this back in here, we'll use some JB Weld, just kind of seal it up and get it all tight in there. So this piece slid out just fine, as you can see. Pretty worn. Not the worst I've seen, just kind of wanted to get it out of the way and get it done. So we had this piece to paint, this piece, and also got to separate this piece now from the bottom part, which should be easy, just a few tabs down there. Also fairly easy, but unfortunately the plastic is just so old that the tabs do break. Not all of them, but quite a few did, so I'll probably put some JB Weld over those after we're done. Yeah, so we're going to sand those 3 parts and get them ready. Alrighty guys, I've got the sanding basically done. Just gonna let these dry off real quick, and I'll use a microfiber cloth. Then I'm gonna take some rubbing alcohol and just clean the surfaces off real good. Put the first coat down to the paint and let it sit for a while. Not sure how many coats we're gonna put yet, but just enough to get it looking pretty much how it looks. Alrighty guys, so this side so far has turned out spectacular. You can't even tell really. It actually looks better than it did before, I think. I think this color actually matches the leather better than the original kind of painted. It's very similar to it, almost exactly the same, but a little bit darker, but I think it's a better match, honestly. The finish is really great. That paint dries in like 45 seconds. So I did a couple layers of filler primer and then let that kind of dry and then put this stuff on top, a couple coats of it, and it pretty much looks great. And all I did is secure it back in. I couldn't find any JB Weld, so I just used hot glue, and I think it's actually working just as well as any JB Weld would have. Just kind of needs to stay in place. But the Windows switch is still drying. Had some issues with that in terms of the had some debris fly into the paint, unfortunately, while it was drying. So I had to pull that out and had to kind of sand it down and redo part of it. So, but luckily we can put this kind of back in the car while we wait. That trim can go in separately, and I have the window switches anyway, so we can still plug that in, so I can drive the car around the day and wait till I get that trim back in. But yeah, pretty happy with the results, gotta say. So now I'm just gonna put it back in, pretty much the reverse of way to take it out. So should be pretty easy. Just remember I took out 3 screws only, and make sure the door card is secure, and we should be good to go. So there's that one piece in the car, looking good to get the trim back in. Window switches are going to be operational for now, but I just need to get that one piece all figured out. Alrighty guys, it is a new day, but check it out. Got the new freshly painted interior parts over here. Looks pretty good, I think, if I do say so myself. Looks quite a lot better than it did before. I should put some pictures up comparing the before and after, not of this entire thing, but the pieces individually. It was pretty gnarly, so I'm pretty happy that's done now. Just one more small project we can do over this weekend during this whole quarantine stuff. So that's about it, guys.